What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Diehard M here with you, ready for episode 20 of Supforce Live, here with our featured creator for the past 2 weeks. We're going to get to him in a minute, but first we got to take care of a little business, as always. If you're new to the stream, you're new to the podcast, we are Supforce. We are a multi-platform content creating support family. No matter what you stream on or produce content on, whether it's DLive, Mixer, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We have makeup artists. It does not matter. We will support you no matter what you do. Even if it's music, art, whatever, we will support you. That's what we are all about. If you're tired of support communities that don't deliver on what they say they're going to do, then we are the place for you. We are not just a community. As I said, we are a family. We take care of each other. We make sure that we deliver on what we say, and it's a proven thing. And people who come here, whether it's a stepping stone or whether it's your forever home, we help achieve your goals. So please, by all means, make sure you get out there, hit that button to go onto our Discord, which I'm sure somebody will put out there, discord.gg/supportforce. You can join there, or you can read up more about us and go to our website, which is supportforce.co, supportforce.ca, and supportforce.info. Actually, I do have a command. I think it's Supforce. Yep, there you go. There's the website. There's the link to as well. Either one of those you can go to, and it will take you to our server. You can read up about us beforehand, see if we're a right fit. But trust me when I tell you, we are a right fit for you. You cannot go wrong by choosing Supforce. Trust me on that. So, now to the event at hand. Who we're here to meet and learn about. He is the proprietor of Potato, the fryer of fries. He is none other than the one, the only, Spudzlightyear.
Did it work?
It works. You're there.
All right, fantastic. All right.
How are you doing today, Spuds?
I'm good. I love that intro you gave me. That was fantastic.
Maybe I'll have to record something for you for your streams.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. So, I love when you end yours, and I can never even begin to try to remember to do something like that, let alone nail it every time. So.
Well, sometimes I screw it up. Sometimes I get a little tongue-tied, but the fryer of fries, the lover of guys, and the mother of pies, says Brose.
Oh,
there you go.
Nope. All right, fair enough.
That's it.
He's just upset because I kick his ass at Call of Duty all the time. So.
Well, sir, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're not too nervous. You really shouldn't be. This is pretty easy. We just have a conversation. I want to give you a minute to take the floor, tell people a little bit about yourself, and what you're into as far as your gaming and stuff.
Okay. Well, as you guys already know, I'm Spudzlightyear. Originally of the Toxic Taters. We're still the Toxic Taters. I started my own page, which I've kind of failed to do so, but I'm really leaning towards my adventures in PC gaming. It's something I've wanted to do for a really long time. So that was the whole point of separating that. And I mean, while we've been on lockdown, it's actually been a little bit easier. I really like any kind of game. I will play anything. I played that really bad delivery service game the other day with Kat, and that just shows that I'll play anything, and that game was awful. But I love shooters. I love sports games. I play a lot of different stuff on my own. I pretty much stick to like the Apex and Call of Duties and all that on stream just because it's a little bit easier to engage with other people and engage with the chat when you're constantly roasting each other. So what else can I tell you? I'm 30. I'm pretty old. I have fantastic hair, though, that I just started growing like 2 years ago.
Shut up.
And
he's got fantastic hair, and I have no hair. So what a pair are we?
Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. Let's start out just asking you, how's the quarantine treating you? Are you enjoying the little bit of the break?
Yeah. I mean, as a lot of people know, I work really crazy hours. It's usually 6 days a week, at least 5 12s. A a lot of times 6:12s though, and that can range anywhere from 10:30 in the morning to 11 p.m. or 2:30 in the afternoon to 3 a.m. And I work every Sunday. So I pretty much I miss every podcast. I miss anything that goes on during the weekend. So it sucks. But the time off has been really nice. My body needed it. My mind needed it. However, as much as I like being home playing video games, I'm also very much so ready to go back to work because it's unusual to sit around, this much when I know as soon as I go back to work, it's like 3 or 4 weeks straight of just seven days a week,
right,
12-hour days trying to get caught up.
Well, speaking from experience, that I've been out now for, I think this is week 5 for me, that I've pretty much been home since I lost my job right before the pandemic started. So it was like, went right into the, I got let go from my job, and then boom, the pandemic happened. So now nobody's hiring, and I'm ready to go back to work myself. It's like I said, we're in week 5 now, and it's been a little, getting a little stir crazy. It'd probably be one thing if I could go out and go golf and stuff like that, But,
right.
But,
yeah, you can't even do anything.
Right. But being shut in the house, it's gets you going a little mad, Luckily my wife, she works from home, so she's upstairs. She works, during the day. So then I come down here and just do some gaming and whatnot, peruse the job sites. You can only apply to so many jobs before it's like, okay, well, now they're just repeating. And just stream and play some games, and it's to the point now where I'm just like, I really need to get back to work because I want to start supporting people more and supporting my family.
Right
And having not trying to bring down the room or anything, but it's like my daughter wants me to co-sign for a student loan for her, and it's like I can't when I don't have a job. No one's gonna, as good as my credit is, nobody's gonna do anything for me because I don't have a job to support it. So yeah, but
and it's unfortunate. But I mean, like I've told you before, you're obviously a bright guy. You've got a lot of experience under your belt, and you've got a lot to offer. So it's only a matter of time. It was just unfortunate series of events that happened after that. So
oh yeah, for sure. And just because I know you and I both are on the same page, and people are gonna probably turn off the podcast now when we start talking about sports ball. But one of the things that I'm worried about is, you see stuff like Wimbledon getting canceled going into July. That starts encroaching to our time for football.
Yes.
And I'm worried about that. I'm worried about what they're, you see them doing that. And actually, I just heard today in the news when I was watching it that the Wuhan actually lifted their lockdown officially.
Oh, okay.
So they're done with their lockdown. So hopefully that's, a sign of things to come, which I think this started with them in February, I believe. So we're looking at February, March, April. So 3 months.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's already been that long.
So it's not that bad if we can get it to, if we get into June and we can get it lifted, well, then that's cool. But it's going to suck because my golf trip's going to be canceled probably. Because that's going to be in May. That's mid-May is when my golf trip is. Right, the weekend after Mother's Day is when we go. Okay, and it's probably not going to happen. So it sucks.
Yeah, but I definitely. I hope it doesn't affect it too much. I feel bad for all the seniors in high school that I don't know about every other place, but I know here in the Mitten where we are. I know the seniors in high school, their school year's done. So they didn't even get to finish it out. I mean, all the, like sports wise, just the basketball players and football players that were getting ready to start their profession in terms of being a professional athlete. And it's unfortunate. It's horrible that it's happening. I'm glad that, everyone took it so seriously though, and tried to stop the spread of it, but I'm hoping it's done soon.
Well, I got, half of the girls that I coached on my daughter's softball team were seniors this year, and they're posting, their pictures and everything is celebrating their seniors, and I just feel terrible. I mean, I'm like, whew, at least my daughter graduated last year, so I didn't have to worry about that, but, it sucks for them because that's, because I don't know where it is everywhere else, but here in Michigan, they did say that they ended the school year officially. So they're done. And I don't think that's happened everywhere yet. So, no, let's get back on track here a little bit.
All right,
that's the beauty with this podcast is it veers and goes wherever the conversation takes it. So Why don't you talk about what is the very first game that you remember playing?
The very first game that I ever remember playing is Adventure Island on my brother's Nintendo.
Okay.
He never really played that. He was playing Mario constantly all the time.
Mhm.
So when he was done with it and I'd be bugging him, can I play? Can I play? He'd be like, yeah, go ahead and play that. And I probably kept that all the way at least my sophomore year in high school. I kept that and I never once beat it ever in my life. Never beat it. I've gotten really close, but I've never actually beat the game. But that's the first game I ever remember playing, and I just was in love with it. And as I got a little bit older, I think my parents grabbed me a 64 was the first console
Okay.
that I grabbed, and I just played pretty much any kind of Mario game that you could play on that. The wrestling games on it were fantastic because, like Brose, I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Right.
So, yeah, any Adventure Island, and then anything on the 64 was just what I remember, the
Okay.
most.
Nice, nice. What is like? Let's say you're on a desert island and you can only have 3 games that you can play for the rest of your time there. Only 3. What would be your top 3 that you would have?
Top 3 would be Conker's Bad Fur Day, Resident Evil 2, and probably the first God of War.
Okay. I played the first God of War. Are you talking original Resident Evil 2 or are you talking about the remake?
Original Resident Evil 2.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Original.
I tell this story all the time. I remember playing the original Resident Evil on PlayStation 1 and playing it at 2 o'clock in the morning. And that damn scene when you walk through the dining room and the zombie dogs jump through the windows scared the shit out of me. That was the first.
Yeah.
That was the first time in an actual video game that I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, when my buddy and I in high school, we were playing the original Silent Hill on the PlayStation. And it was, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we had indulged in some activities that we probably shouldn't have, that I won't specify on. But
Right.
we were playing, and I was half asleep and passed out, whatever. And he was playing, and all of a sudden I just see this little creature, walk through the graveyard, and I just sat up out of my stupor and just started screaming, "Bust him up! Bust him up!" And we laughed. It was a great time, and of course, I woke my parents up. We got busted. Yeah.
Good times. Sure. Yeah, Silent Hill was creepy. So was the movie. Actually, the movie was pretty creepy.
Yeah, the movies are out there.
They did a very good job with how, like you said, how out there they are too.
Yes.
So what was the first game that you ever streamed?
The very first game that I streamed, it would have been with Blobs on the Toxic Taters channel, and I have to say it was Rainbow Six Siege. Okay. Because we played the absolute hell out of that game. Him, myself, Corn Dogs, Big Roger play with us, Country. We played the shit out of the game. When I first met you, in fact, that was the game that we were all hooked on.
Right. Now, what actually was it a joint decision that you and Blobs did that, hey, let's just start streaming this? Or was it something that you came up with and said, hey, Blobs, you want to do this with me?
Well, I always described it as this. I knew a little bit more of the tech stuff, which you wouldn't believe now because I have to ask everyone every question in the world ever since I got this desktop. But I knew some more of the tech stuff, and he is a lot better at video games than I am. So, but together we're pretty funny, we like to think.
For sure.
We were just sitting around one day, and it was him, myself, Corn Dogs, a bunch of us, and we were just playing, and we kept making the remarks. So oh, this is pretty good content. We should try to market this. And then one day he was sitting here, and I had got fired from my job that I hated, which is actually the job that I'm back at now, but that's a different story for a different time.
Right.
I was just sitting around doing nothing. And I was like, hey, let's just get all the equipment and start streaming. And he's like, yeah, we can do that. And that was really it. There was no like detailed conversation. We didn't go into like a full plan.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of wordplay off of, we made up the best spuds because we had potato aim. That turned into Toxic Taters. I became Spudzlightyear and he became Spuds Blob.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen the streamer, well, he does a lot of YouTube videos, Fitz?
I don't think so. The name sounds familiar, though.
Okay, so I think it was Opie that turned me on to him. And if you watch his streams, I feel like you and Blobs with the whole crew could be like those guys.
Yeah.
So I would highly suggest looking up his YouTube videos because it's just some of the random shit that they say, and that I'm like, oh yeah, this could definitely be Blobs and Lightyear for sure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I will definitely. I'm gonna have to look them up.
So you did this together and everything. Now I know that you have you're trying to do this one channel on your own and everything. Is there going to be a reunion of the Toxic Tater stream?
Yes, him and I have been talking about it because obviously everyone in the group knows that him and Kayleigh are together. Um, and basically he's been working a lot on getting all of her overlays and alerts and everything all figured out because she's recently started streaming a lot more.
Yes, with those hot sizzling streams. Way to
Yes,
be,
yes.
Kayleigh. Way to put yourself out there.
So he's been working on that, and I had been so focused on work and everything else, and then all the unfortunate stuff that happened in his life, and then when he moved out there, it was a big delay. So it was really good for us to take that time off because it was kind of more so like, oh, we need to stream, we haven't streamed, and it wasn't really that fun anymore. But him and I have been talking about it. I actually, like 3 months ago, started working on a brand new overlay for us, and I'm like that close to finishing it.
Yeah.
So I know I definitely want to get something going before I go back to work where we can debut that and get some more content in with each other. So that will definitely be a thing. My channel will probably end up going to just PC and horror games because that's pretty much my my love, my passion, as you can tell by the weird red lights and everything else. So
and your logo on your stream with half of Pennywise and half of Lightyear.
Yes, and that actually, that just stems from Lightyear's my fun, friendly, personality for streaming, and then Pennywise is like all the weird stuff that I like inside my head with the horror games and just all that weird stuff. So, and it helps that my son's obsessed with Pennywise, so it just kind of worked out. I was like, well, I could just go with this theme.
Nice. Well, what's funny is that in my game Destiny 2 that I play, there's an actual emote of the Pennywise dance.
Oh, really?
Where his head's just there, and it's actually pretty funny. So, it just makes me think of that. By the way, what is your take on the remake of the two It movies?
All right, so the first remake, Chapter 1, I was okay with. I thought that they tried to make it too dark when it was obviously just hilarious. With that one kid from Stranger Things in it that played Richie, I think his name is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kid just absolutely nailed it. I laughed throughout the whole movie. It actually sucks. Corn Dogs can tell this. I have the worst laugh in the world. So when I go to a theater, I'm obnoxious and you don't want to sit next to me. And the very beginning of the movie when, I can't think of the little boy's name in the beginning, but he gets his arm, bit off by Pennywise, and he turns around and he just got that little nub there. I died laughing just because I thought it was so ridiculous and not necessary.
Right.
And I just looked like a complete asshole. But the first one, I thought they tried to do too much and make it, too scary when it was just, meant for laughs. I mean, the original, it wasn't really scary.
Right.
And the second one, I thought they did a fantastic job with. I thought they blended a really good mesh of horror and actually bringing a comedic relief to it. But then the end absolutely ruined the whole movie for me. It was the worst ending to any movie I've ever seen in my life.
I have not seen 2 yet, so that's why I gotta watch it. It was pulling teeth to get my wife to go to the first one because she hates fucking clowns. She hates them. I'm not a big fan of them, but I wanted to see the movie in that because I mean it's such an iconic role that I wanted to see how they did with it, and I thought they did pretty good.
Yeah, the only complaint I had about this Pennywise is when I first heard him speak, he sounded like Scooby-Doo to me. So I started laughing because of that too, and I looked like the biggest asshole in the theater. So.
Oh Jesus! All right, so since you're such a big horror guy, top 3 horror movies that you think.
Top 3 horror movies. If I had to go based upon just the movies and not the franchises, I would say that the number one for me that I've watched since I've been alive, I would say would have to be The Conjuring, just because when that came out, that movie actually scared me, and I don't get scared by a lot of movies. So that one actually scared me. I really loved just how different it was. when that came out. And then the other two, it would be a tie for second and third, would be Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, because I absolutely love 80s slasher style films.
The originals.
Yes,
the
originals.
first movie.
The remakes, not the sequels, but the remakes of those movies were just trash.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute trash. I didn't like anything about them, but the originals would definitely be in the top 3.
Well, when they were going to redo Nightmare on Elm Street, and they actually picked the guy who played Rorschach in Watchmen,
yeah,
I was intrigued. I was like, all right. And then when I watched it, I was like,
Yeah, I was, as soon as they said who it was, I was only nervous just because he didn't have the build of Robert Englund.
Right.
Like, he wasn't as tall. I mean, he was still slender, but he wasn't as tall. And I didn't really see the, I don't know, evil coming out of him, and it ended up not transferring over to the screen, and that's why they haven't done another one. So
right. Well, I would have to say for myself, I'm more into. Well, I mean, I like the '80s slasher films too. I would have to say the original Nightmare on Elm Street, the very first one. You know, that one, to me, I love it. The whole thing with him on the ceiling, and the ceiling scene and that, and then
yes, with Tina and just
the freaking fountain of blood that comes out of the waterbed and everything. You're just like, holy shit, that was so well done. But I would have to say number 2 for me is Event Horizon, which is a sci-fi horror film, and I love that movie. I absolutely love it. And then 3 for me would have to be the original Alien movie. The first one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because
definitely
the whole suspense of that movie just kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time. That you just kept waiting, and then the whole dinner scene when he just goes into convulsions and he just flops on the table, and then all of a sudden the fucking alien just pops out and just looks around.
Yeah.
The problem now is because of Spaceballs, I can never look at that scene the same. When the fucking alien comes out and goes, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling," it's just walking down the thing. It's like, now I can't ever see that scene the same way again. I still need to go back and watch the. I think there were prequels that they came out with. I'm trying to remember what it started with a P, was the first one that came out when they after the original. I think it was four of them that came out. And then there was, oh my god, hold on, I'm gonna kill myself for not knowing these.
I'm drawing a blank. I think I haven't watched past 3. I think that's probably the last one I watched.
Prometheus.
Okay.
Because there was Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. Then Prometheus is when they kind of rebuild the whole thing. And then Alien Covenant that they had after that. But I believe Prometheus was supposed to be before. Yeah, Prometheus was before Alien.
Right.
So that kind of told the story about that. Then Alien Covenant was before Alien, so it kind of set up the movies after that. So
okay.
But yeah, I want to go back and watch those movies as well.
Corn Dog Scream is fantastic too. I completely forgot about that.
The original Scream.
Yes. I honestly, the first 2 I thought were great. And then the most recent one that came out, I actually didn't hate it. Like, I know a lot of people shit on it, but I didn't really hate it. I was like, oh, it's kind of fresh. It was, I thought it was well done, and then they just didn't do anything else with it afterwards. That was the big complaint of my end. So
did you watch the series that was on not HBO, MTV?
I did not. I didn't really have much of an interest in it.
Now, you being a fan of the 80s slasher horror films, did you watch American Horror Story 1983?
Yes, and I thought it was amazing, except for they revealed everything way too soon. They sped things up. I don't know if if they were told to just cut the season somewhat short.
Right.
I mean, because I know they only run like 12 or 13 episodes anyway a season, but it seemed like you had like another solid 2 or 3 episodes worth of story you could have told, and it was just jam-packed into whatever it was. I think it was 11 episodes. Right. But I still thought it was awesome. I love the way they did it. It was definitely a lot better than, I would say, at least half the other seasons, in my opinion.
Right. Well, it's like my favorite season that I had was Asylum, up until the last like 2 or 3 episodes. That first half of that season, I was just like, I was in it. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, because it's like what you think of people in insane asylums and them doing experiments and everything else.
Right.
And then, and I'm sorry, it was season 2, so if you haven't watched it by now, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
the fact that they threw aliens in it at the end, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why? Why did you have to go
Sometimes
there?
they go too far.
You didn't have to do that, you know?
Yeah.
But I did like Roanoke too, because I liked the whole Salem witch trial and everything, and
Right.
it kind of was like on that. I know they did Covenant, which I didn't really care for, but it was just the whole aspect of the history of everything that was going on. I loved that.
See, I was a really big fan of Cult. Like I'd watched the first 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I had watched half of, I think it was Covenant. That was the 3rd season, I believe.
Yeah, Covenant was the 3rd season.
Yeah, and then I had watched half of Freak Show, and I couldn't finish either season. They didn't hold my attention. But as soon as I started watching Cult, I was instantly hooked. I thought that was a fantastic season they did.
I thought it was good too. The whole, when they tied it into everything that was happening in the world today, and that.
Yep.
I love it, and that's why I'm kind of interested with this new one, because they haven't released very many details on it. They only showed that there's a beach with a hand coming up, onto the ground. So it's kind of like, okay, well, are they? Because I know that they were toying with the idea of doing a ghost ship before, was one of the rumors, but I don't know if they're talking about doing some kind of beach theme with this one, and how they're going to do that. But it's cool that it's pretty much everyone's coming back.
Yeah, and that's what I like too, because a lot of the actors and actresses on that show I think are fantastic. I can't think of the actor's name now. He's been in it since season 1.
Evan Peters.
Yes,
I love Evan Peters.
He is fantastic.
He's got a hot girlfriend now too. Do you know who he's dating?
Who?
Halsey.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because they showed them
never saw that coming.
They showed them at Halloween. I can't remember what he was dressed up as, but she was dressed up as Marilyn Manson.
Oh,
in the white jumpsuit and everything. So
yeah, I would have never seen that.
Wolf, we haven't gotten to questions yet, so that's okay. I'll just ask this one now because I don't want to miss it. Is what's the significance of the potatoes?
The potatoes was literally just that. I have potato aim. Corn dogs and blobs are pretty good. Country, I love him, but he sucks just as much as I do for the most part. So we had potato aim, and they would rib on us a lot for it, and I just made the term the best spuds, trying to make a bad pun.
Right.
And then that's just where it came from, and it just stuck. The only one that I think the only one that didn't change their name to a spud was Corn Dogs. But when you have a name like Corn Dogs, you don't really have to change your name. So
right,
it's still food related.
Yes, Corn Dogs. Macaulay Culkin is in the new season, but you can't say nothing about it until it actually happens. It could be really good, depending on what his character is. I gotta know. I gotta know what the plot line is first before I say, oh my God, Macaulay Culkin's in it. There's only a few things that you can do, like when they announced Ben Affleck as Batman. It was like, Jesus Christ, come on. Then when they announced Rob Pattinson as Batman now too, it's like, come on. But now, what I'm seeing them doing with some of the stills and everything for that movie, for the Batman movie, it's got me interested for real. It really, really does.
All I know is they're one bad Batman away from making it, so I actually have to start, reading Marvel comics or watching Marvel movies, and I don't want to do that. So,
well, what's interesting about the Batman franchise too, if you honestly think about it, it's a damn roller coaster ride. Because I mean, with Michael Keaton, you were up here, and then they went Val Kilmer, and then George Clooney, and then they came back up with Christian Bale and the whole Dark Knight series and everything.
Yeah.
Now they're back down again with Ben Affleck with the Batman vs Superman and then the Justice League, and now. It's just depending on, are they going to go lower? They're going to come back up with Pattinson. I'm going to wait and see on that.
Yeah, I'm nervous because, like I said, it's something that could definitely make it. So I give up on it.
Yeah,
because there's been plenty of bad films, since I was born. That it's easy to see why people like Marvel. I mean, honestly, the films are a lot better than anything that really DC has come out with, except for I think the Dark Knight trilogy was fantastic. Very well done. But that had a lot to do with who played Batman as well.
Right.
So,
Yeah, for real, it did. And you know, when you look at it, they did an excellent job with the villains in each one too. You know, Scarecrow was awesome in the first one. And then in your second one, obviously Ledger was legendary. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime performance that you're going to have. And then you're like, okay, well, when they come out with Dark Knight Rises.
Thank you, Diehard, for everything with the pod.
Thank you so much, Panic. When you come out, and I'm sorry, I know there's other people that donated and stuff too, and I'll get to everybody here in a little bit. But the fact that you go, okay, Dark Knight Rises, you're like, all right, well, they're going to do Bane. Well, how good can it be compared to what Ledger did? And then Tom Hardy doing Bane was phenomenal, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's underrated how good he was in that role.
By all means. I think as an actor overall, I would say that he's very underrated. I pretty much love anything that he's in. I really enjoyed Venom even.
I was going to say that. We actually watched that this past weekend because I haven't watched it yet. And I was impressed with it. I thought it was actually pretty good. And I'm going to be really, really, really interested to see how they do with Venom 2 and Woody Harrelson with Carnage. And see how they do with that.
That should be fun.
And yes, Brose, he was awesome in Warrior. He was awesome in Warrior.
Very much so. That's a fantastic movie.
He was awesome. There's actually another movie that he was in it's kind of a rom-com, but it was him and Chris Pine and Reese Witherspoon. This Means War. He was actually really good in that. I liked him in Legend, where he played twin brothers. Hardy played that, and he is a great actor. He really is.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly impressed with him. Okay, so would you say that you really just stick to horror films, or do you have other movies that you really like that are non-horror films?
No, Corn Dogs might call bullshit on this because he didn't believe me, but I actually love documentaries. Okay. I love documentaries. Everyone likes a good comedy flick. Surprisingly enough, I like action films, but to me they're all the same. Just a lot of explosions and fighting and everything else. And I just tend to like stuff with a story more so. So.
All right. Well, I gotta ask. You said documentaries. I gotta ask. Did you watch Tiger King?
I did not, and there's reasons why I did not. As soon as I seen how big it was getting, and I've had people tell me about it, and go on about how ridiculous the whole event was, and how there's no way all of this can be true. I was like, I just have no intentions of watching this at all, ever.
Oh my god! But if you love a good car wreck, you got to watch it because that's what had happened. My wife watched the first episode, and she was just like, Jesus Christ, this is so stupid. She goes, but I gotta keep watching. I gotta keep watching it. So it's like, damn it. So we watched it, and it was, yes, Cherry, she did kill her husband. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way she didn't kill her husband. But Lightyear, I'm telling you, if anything, it's for good comic relief. You gotta watch it because you just be like, this is so ridiculous that it can't be true, but it is. It's true. And everyone, you know how you know it's true? They're all pissed on how they were portrayed on the show. They're all pissed about it, except for Joe Exotic, just because he loves to be an attention whore.
I don't know much about that guy, but he seems.
But bro,
he actually doesn't seem that bad. I might even hang out with that guy one day. I wouldn't.
Bro, he seems fun. You cannot turn down having a gay, gun-toting, tiger cub mill having gunslinging god what's the word I'm looking for, polygamist. That's Joe Exotic.
I heard. Yeah, everything I heard, he makes the show.
Oh my god.
Granted, I may get bored one day and start watching it, but as of right now I think it'll be way down the line before I do.
Brose, I don't think he's under the septic tank. I think he was eaten by tigers. I really, really do.
I don't know anything about it all, but I guarantee he was eaten by tigers. That just seems like it would fit the show perfectly.
Well, I'll just tell you this one part. There's a part talking about where they showed Joe Exotic getting pulled by his foot. You know, the tiger's like sniffing at his foot, going at his foot and everything, and then yanking him. And then they were talking about, he's like, I don't know, I must have had cologne or something on my foot. And then they switched to Carol Baskins, who's sitting there saying, no, it wouldn't be something like that. It would be like sardine oil. If somebody coated him in sardine oil, then the tiger would go nuts over it. And then it was like everybody kind of went,
Yeah, like
and your
are you
husband
sure?
didn't get eaten by a tiger?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Rebel, it is this week. There's a new episode that's going to be airing on it. Rebel wants to know, what were your thoughts on Penny Dreadful? I have thoughts on this too because I watched all the seasons.
Now see, I have not watched any Penny Dreadful yet. That's one of those ones because I have this bad thing. Like, do you remember the show The Following with Kevin Bacon?
Yes.
Okay. When I
so good,
watched,
so good in the beginning.
yeah, the very first season was just fucking amazing. But like when I get really into a show, like I watched the first season. I bought it at like 8 a.m. when I left work, and I ended up calling into work that night. I worked third shift because I hadn't finished the season yet, and I also hadn't slept. So I finished the season and then immediately started season 2, and then became disappointed towards the end.
Yeah.
But so when it's shows like that I know I'm going to be into, I don't watch until they're like right before the last season, or I'll pick it up after the series is concluded, because as soon as I start watching it, I can't wait to know what happens next. Like I need to watch everything. It's the same way with Gotham. You know, obviously huge Batman fan. I did the same thing with Gotham. I waited till right before the last season before I started watching, and I binge watched every season before that, and then watched the last one. So that one is on my list.
Gotham lost me into the third season. That's when I went away from Gotham and I didn't finish it. I never watched it after that.
I'm here to tell you the third season of every show is the season that makes it or breaks it if you can handle it.
Right.
Sons of Anarchy, the third season was the worst. I don't watch The Walking Dead, but I've heard the third season was the worst. Gotham, the third season was just horrible, but as soon as you got past that, it was good. It's every show. The third season is just ass.
Well, right now and I don't know if you've seen this or if you'd be interested in it. I'm watching right now The Man in the High Castle. And
okay,
that's the one on Amazon Prime where it's basically what if the Nazis actually won the war and they took over America and gave the West Coast to the Japanese. And it's this whole thing. I just finished the first season. I'm into it. It's like, before I come on and stream in the afternoon, I watch like a couple episodes of it, and that while I'm eating, breakfast and that. But it's a good series. It really is. And I think if you're into history and whatnot, the historical significance of it and the kind of the twist of it, I think you might like it.
Right. What is Brose losing his shit over?
I think he's losing his shit over that you have not seen Penny Dreadful. Is that it, Brose?
Oh no, he's talking about the Ireland season of Sons of Anarchy. It was trash, Brose. I'm sorry. It was trash.
Okay, Brose, hold on. I'm like the biggest Sons of Anarchy fan. Okay. I watch that show. I watch Mayans religiously too as well. Ireland wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. But it was not the greatest. Okay. That is probably one of the only TV shows that actually made me like tear up and cry when Opie died.
That was horrible.
I was just like, my wife and I just sat there. We had tears in our eyes and we looked and was like, I just feel like my best friend just died. It was ridiculous. She's on his way to
hit me. Yeah.
Oh, please, Lucifer. It's been out for so long. They're going into the third season of Mayans a year, like 2 years after the last season.
If you haven't watched Sons of Anarchy then now you have to, because now you already know.
I have a mural of Opie on my back. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's funny. Man. No, it was, I loved Sons of Anarchy. I really like Mayans too. It was one of those things where it was just like, I was watching it. The first season I loved, and the second season, you started watching it, you're like, all right, well, I guess I'll go through it. And then it was like halfway through, you're like, oh my God, okay, I'm into it again. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and start watching Penny Dreadful. So
Penny Dreadful was really good. I don't know about they ended it. I think it's after Rabble. Was it 3 seasons? I can't remember. I think it was only 3 seasons they did, and then they stopped it. And now they're coming out with a new one, which I think is called Penny Dreadful City of Angels, which is going to be like Mexican, Whereas,
Okay, so yeah, see, I heard about it, but I thought it was all going to be the same show. So,
right, the first,
like, I thought they were just continuing where they had their 3 seasons and then they weren't different name or anything like that. It was just Penny Dreadful season 4. So
no, this is a whole different setup. They might harken back to it, but like Penny Dreadful seasons 1 through 3 was all in London because it went with Frankenstein's monster, all those guys, and I loved how they did all that, and I was into it. I watched them all. So yeah, it was 3 seasons, and then now they're doing Penny Dreadful City of Angels. So, but it's good. I liked it, and
I'll you being have to watch it.
Yeah, you being into horror, I think you would really like it. Kat wants to know, why do you drink terrible beer?
It's not that I drink terrible beer. It's just that she's misguided in her beer choices, and I think maybe one day she will learn to love Budweiser. But she's used to all those real good brewery beers, and I'm used to just the good old $12.99 Walmart 12-pack. So
get yourself a 36-pack of Hams.
Hams. I had a buddy that wanted to buy that the other day. I told him I'd rather finger my ass. So sorry if that's too explicit, but that I would rather do that than drink Hams. So I was drinking Rolling Rock the other night. So
well, compared to Hams, Rolling Rock is like hoity-toity, man. Put your pinky out while you drink it.
Yeah, I like Rolling Rock just because it feels like you're drinking beer, but you never get drunk off it. You can drink the whole case and not get drunk.
Right.
So.
Yoshi wants to know, can Yoshi outdrink you?
Yoshi likes to. All right. If it was a mixture of beer and liquor and mixed drinks, I would just mop the floor of him. Because he doesn't drink all that other stuff that much. He usually just drinks either shots or he'll drink Black Velvet and Coke. So,
okay.
To sum up my question in short, no, not at all. He's a pussy and don't listen to him. That's my answer.
Well, there you go. And I'm so God damn it, Lightyear, they better have a football season because I want in your fantasy football draft.
And you could probably have a spot. Yoshi was supposed to show up to it before and never did because he didn't like that it was on a Saturday. So, but yeah, we always do when Corn Dogs is in it, and Corn Dogs is the 2-time defending champion. As much as I hate to say that, but I mean, we go all out with it. We have a draft party. We all cook a bunch of food. Last year we did all these cool draft intros that never ever went anywhere, but it was actually a lot of fun. So yeah, I would the people that I normally do it with, I would like to still do one with them, but I'd like to start a new one where I can get everybody else in that can't make it into that one. So one of the two, I definitely, yeah.
Because I know last season I was going to be in it. But I said I couldn't get out there. But you said no, you gotta be here in person to do the draft.
Yeah, that's the only unfortunate thing. You have to be there for the live draft. So Corn Dogs, like I said, is king right now with with back-to-back championship wins.
Right.
I know I definitely would love to get you in there. I'd love to get Big Raj in there because Big Raj won one that I was in beforehand, and I took that pretty personally when he brought that belt up and rubbed it right in my face. So, yeah, I'd like to get him in there. That way I can embarrass him as well.
Roger wants to know, who is the best dancer?
That's a tough one. I'm going to go with Big Raj just because you would not expect a man of his distinguished age to be able to move the way he does. Like that video of Post Malone where you have that old guy with the beard on the stage.
That's him. That's Roger.
Yeah,
I don't care what I don't care what he says. That's Roger.
Yeah, and you it's a joke until you actually see the guy. Like, I mean, he within 2 minutes of ordering a drink, he was like, "All right, forget everybody else." He just went out to the dance floor, and I was like, "Wow, it's seriously impressive." So I would definitely go with Big Raj on that.
Rebel says Red Dog, the beer of the 90s. I remember Red Dog.
That was, I think, the first beer I ever had. I stole one of my brother's.
Really?
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Well, let's do this. Tell me about the first time that you actually got drunk.
Oh, that's a fun story. The first time I ever actually got drunk, I had my brother who... If you ever met the guy, you would definitely understand before I even tell you the story. You would just naturally assume that he would steal half my money and half the alcohol that I just purchased. So, but my buddy and I, we were 13, and I had given him money. And I said, "Hey, can you get us a case of beer and a fifth of Jack Daniels?" And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." And I said, all right, and then just, we'll drink with you later on when you get home from work.
Mm-hmm.
By the time he got home from work, it was like 1 a.m. And mind you, he got out at like 9. So I was like, oh, well, this sucks. I just wasted a bunch of money and I'm not even going to get drunk. He comes stumbling out of the car. He's got a case of Red Dog. He has half a fifth of Jack Daniels left and said, hey, bro, I drank my half. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, that's fantastic. Thanks. And granted, I'm 13, so it didn't really take much for me to get drunk. I think I had 2 shots of Jack and maybe 4 beers and was feeling it. And then we proceeded to finish the bottle of Jack.
Right.
And I just remember waking up the next morning, passed out on the living room floor to my dad just kind of nudging me. And he's like, hey, what'd you do last night? Nothing. I just hung out with Ray, who's my brother. And he's like, yeah, he goes, I can tell there's a bunch of empty beer cans out there. And, there's an empty bottle of Jack. And I'm like, yeah, he had friends over. And he's like, you're not fooling me. He goes, I knew you were drunk when you walked in because I was, up in the kitchen getting something. You came in, you fell face first on the living room floor. You passed out. You've been there since. So, yeah, that was a fun conversation to have in the morning with a pounding headache. The worst headache I've ever had in my life was that first hangover headache.
Oh, yeah. I think my first time getting drunk, I was 15, and my high school soccer team, we won our first game in 2 years. So they went all out with the party and everything. And like the juniors and the seniors on the team were, because I was a band geek in high school and that. So, I wasn't amongst the popular people, but they're like, Mo, we're getting you drunk tonight. I swear to God, we're getting you drunk. I'm like, okay. And let my dad know that I was going to be, staying at, the place because I told him, I said, there's going to be alcohol there, Dad. I'm not going to lie to you. So he's like, all right, just be safe. Don't go anywhere or anything like that. So they proceeded to just start feeding me alcohol. And that was like the first time that it was liquor, beer, liquor, beer, liquor, beer.
Yeah.
And it was just freaking a train wreck from there. And I was at this guy's house I was down in the basement, just kind of passed out and everything. And then all of a sudden I felt it going. I'm like, oh my God. And I crawled over to the stairs and I looked up the stairs and I was just like, I'm not going to make it. And then all of a sudden I felt it again. And it was like, whoo, ran up the stairs and everything. Puked in the toilet and went half on the toilet and half in the toilet. So it was just kind of there. I went back downstairs and everything. And all of a sudden it hit again. Ran upstairs, looked, and was like, who the hell puked on the side of the toilet? And then I puked in the sink.
Yeah, I've had those with the puking nights at a woods party. Was riding home, and I had kept saying that I was going to get sick, and my sisters handed me a McDonald's bag. And so I threw up in that and then passed out in the back seat on the way home. And then when I woke up, it soaked through the bag, all over me, all over the car. It was horrible.
And then I remember the last time I actually got really shit-faced was New Year's Eve, and it was the eve that Michigan State played Alabama in the playoff.
Oh.
And
yeah,
everybody who knows me knows that I have a hatred for Michigan State. For Ohio State and Michigan State, I have a hatred for them. That's why I'm diehard Michigan. That's why you see all the Michigan stuff and everything. I hate Michigan State. And so we were at my cousin's house, and I said, you know what? Let's do this. And you know how that game went, Lightyear. I said, let's do a shot every time Alabama scores. And my cousin goes, all right, and put a fifth of Patron on the table and said, let's do it. And fucking MSU got obliterated.
Yeah, not one of my prouder moments as a State fan.
At halftime, I was gone. And then my cousin has video of me with my head in the toilet and everything, and puking, and hearing him, he goes, hey, Brian, Alabama scored again. And I go, Roll Tide.
Yeah, that was a horrible game.
Because I didn't think it would be a blowout like that. I thought,
No, I knew going in as a State fan, I knew we would lose. But I thought our defense was enough to make it so we could at least score, like a field goal and probably a touchdown on a turnover. Right. I did not expect what had happened.
Everybody, if you want, please go ahead and put more questions out there in the chat, and we'll go to them as well. Yes, PBR, and who is it? Marina, do not say anything bad about PBR. Okay, PBR is an American institution. All right, much like Miller High Life, which is the champagne of beers.
Yeah, just like Coors is the banquet of beers.
You mean like the banquet, the banquet TV dinners?
Yes.
Okay,
Delicious and fills you up.
Rebel's question that he always asks every podcast:
Mhm.
If you could be any animal, who would you be and why?
That's a tough one. I'd probably be a dog, which is a pretty basic answer, but I'd be a dog for 3 reasons. 1, your man's best friend. 2, you can lick yourself. And 3, your whole life is sniffing people's butts. And 2 of those 3 things are fantastic. So I would definitely be a dog.
Hey, and that goes along with it's hashtag 2020.
Yeah.
You know what we're all doing in 2020,
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh boy, that I didn't even think about that. That worked out perfect.
It's not Beejers in 2020.
We eating ass.
Anybody who tunes in to Monday Night Golf knows that what 2020 means.
Yes. Fucking brose. That guy. He cracks me up.
So you sat there and said that you like documentaries and everything else like that. What's the the best documentary that you've actually watched?
Well, it's more of the honestly one that I just recently watched was the one on the Unabomber on Netflix, the docuseries, I think it's 4 episodes. I thought that was fantastic. There was so much stuff that I did not know about him.
Okay.
Whatchamacallit, if you wanna really push back, and I don't know, I would consider it I don't even know if I'd consider that a docuseries, but there was a thing done, not the Netflix special and not the other TV special, but there was one done on Ted Bundy. I want to say it was on either Showtime or HBO like 10 or 12 years ago.
Okay.
It was like 3 episodes on it. I thought that was fantastic because at the time, and still to this day, I find serial killers fascinating. And no, that's not scary. It's just because the way they get away with things and everything else, and what makes people tick, I guess, is what's more so what I'm fascinated about. But at the time, I was doing a project in school, and a teacher had, well, I guess it would have been longer than 10 years ago, so probably like 15 years ago, a teacher had recommended that I watch that before I write my paper, and it was just amazing, just the details, because they didn't go. The one movie went to the gore part of his crimes and everything that was wrong with him.
Right.
That one on Netflix with Zac Efron, that was literally, I mean, they couldn't have PG-13 that any more than what they did. It didn't go into any kind of detail of anything that was really heinous about his actions. Like, they really wanted to play up the fact that he was a handsome man, and that's why they used Zac Efron.
Right.
Which, no hate on him, he is beautiful. But this series was a good mixture of both. It was, like I said, it was like 3 episodes, hour long each, but it went into detail of his crimes, of what he did, and it also explained, what goes on mentally, the part of the brain that's missing, or everything else in that sense. Like it went more so into the character of the person that he was, as opposed to the crimes or what he did or did not get away with. So that was fantastic. Other than that, I'd have to. I love watching documentaries, but the ones that really grab my attention would be the docuseries, the one where it's not an hour long explaining, this happened, like war documentaries are interesting, but like they can never carry my attention longer than like half an hour. I need something that's like building up. I don't want to know everything all at once. So definitely the Ted Bundy and the Unabomber one. If you haven't watched those, watch them.
Did you watch the Netflix one, The Mind of Aaron Hernandez?
I have not finished that. I've watched 2 episodes.
Yeah, we finished that one this weekend. It was pretty awesome. It was interesting to learn about, like, because I always thought like he was from low poverty area and all that stuff, and then you find out he went to like a suburban high school and everything else, and you're just like, holy shit! Like, okay, he had this life, and you can't say that there's no doubt because he didn't admit to it, but he was definitely gay. and he had to struggle with that.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've gathered from it.
When
so
the
far.
fucking quarterback comes out and says, "Yeah, we didn't have girls or anything around, so we just kind of did stuff with each other," and I'm just like, "All right, well, I think that pretty much says it right there."
yeah, that says everything you need to know. I know. I want to watch the the Trials of Gabriel Martinez, I think it is.
Okay.
It's about the little boy that I believe it was like a three-day event where I want to say it was the mom and the mom's boyfriend or whatnot. They tortured him, murdered him, and buried him or something. And it's their court cases or court trials from that. And I want to watch that one. And then there was one other one I was seeing the other day that I started watching, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was called. It was like one of those ones where I'm really tired, but I can't fall asleep. So I'm just going to hit start on this knowing that I'm going to see like maybe the 2-minute intro, and that's it.
One more question for me before I go to all these questions we have in the chat. Have you seen where they have that box that you can get, I think it's once a month, where it's Hunt a Serial Killer?
I have not seen that.
Yeah, they have a whole thing where it's like plan a weird date night, and it's like you get a box that comes in and it gives you like information, and you have to hunt a serial killer and try to find where they're I don't know how exactly it works, but it gives you like a map and clues and everything else and stuff where you have to hunt down a serial killer somehow.
Really? Now that sounds like a lot of fun.
So that's something you should look up for.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Kat wants to know, what's your favorite book?
Well, I would have to say it's either the Shawshank Redemption. It's fantastic. Just anything about that's a fantastic read. The movie, everything about that is great. And then I would say There's a Boy in the Girl's Bathroom, because that got me the most AR points in 5th grade, and I read that like 4 times. So definitely that.
Let me ask you this, because I never read the book. How close was the book to the movie?
I mean, there was a lot of similarities. There was minor differences.
Okay.
There wasn't anything that was like huge where you're like, that's bullshit. That's not how it happened. Minor differences. I don't remember anything being super huge.
That's good though, then, because that's one of the things, like, you can't, if you can say that there's only minor differences, there's no plot holes or anything like that, then that's what you could consider it. It's a good adaptation of the book. Taurus wants to know, do you believe in aliens?
No, I don't believe in anything. I'm weird. I don't believe in anything at all. Like, I literally believe what's in front of me that I could touch, see, smell, lick, anything like that. That's what I believe in. I don't believe in anything out there. The thought of ghosts scare the shit out of me though, but I don't believe it.
See, that's why, like, if you want to get into horror movies, like the first Paranormal Activity, like one through 3, I was just like, fuck, especially 3 with the little girls, because I'll tell you a little story about that. Is when that movie came out and everything, my cousin's daughter all of a sudden started talking to somebody in the room that wasn't there, and we were like, whoa, get the fucking priest in here right now.
My
burn the house down, burn the house down, get out.
I really liked the first Paranormal Activity. That was good.
And the second one was especially fun because that's when they had the Xbox 360 Connect, where they turn the night vision on the camera, and you saw all the lines and everything, and then you saw stuff moving. And I kept telling my wife, because I had a Connect, and I was like, come on, let's turn the lights off and everything. Let's put the night vision on the camera. And she's like, no, fuck you. We're not doing that. I don't want to know what's out there. Yoshi wants to know, how many tattoos do you have?
I can count these. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2, 4, 6, 7. That's 19, 20, 21.
What was your first one?
My first one was a cross that I have on my arm. Myself, my dad, and my uncle all got the tattoo.
Okay.
Both my dad and my uncle are gone, so I'm the only one remaining. And I hope one day that my son wants to get it too.
Nice. That's a cool thing to have handed down too, like that. Yeah. Cherry wants to know, out of all the serial killers, who is your favorite to learn about?
Albert Fish. Just because Yoshi and I actually had a conversation about this the other night. He was messed up. He was into cannibalism, and just what I would love to know more about what went on in his head, because one of the things that he's famous for is sending the mother of one of his victims a letter explaining what had happened, and ended it in a very haunting way. I won't say it on here just because it is pretty messed up. But I would love to know what actually went on in that guy's head. And I mean, I know a little bit of his backstory of, you know, how he was raised and everything else like that. But there's definitely gaping holes, because I mean, this stuff happened back in the
Ooh.
60s, I say.
Was that the guy that made a belt out of nipples?
I don't know if he made the belt on nipples. That sounds more so like something that Ed Gein would have done, because I know he made bowls out of the skulls of victims.
Yep,
And
that must be who it is, because I listened to I don't know if you know who Bert Kreischer is, the Machine.
yeah, I recently started watching him. He's hilarious.
I listen to his podcast all the time. He does Two Bears, One Cave, and he does the Bill Burt podcast with Bill Burr. And I listened to that, and they were talking about how it was the Bill Burr podcast. It was his most recent one, and they were talking about how people were, you know, talking about Bundy and all this stuff, and they're like, no, there's more fucked up people than those guys. And they were talking about that guy who made the bowls out of the skulls and everything else.
Yeah, Ed Gein. They used a lot. There was a lot of inspiration drawn off him for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes, they actually said they did it for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Part of it too was for Silence of the Lambs and all that too.
Yep.
Like he's been an inspiration for a lot of those kind of movies, which is weird.
Yep.
Like you know who should make a movie about him? Fucking Rob Zombie.
Yeah, the second Halloween that Rob Zombie did was fucking out there. The first one I thought was fantastic. I loved House of a Thousand Corpses. I love The Devil's Rejects. Stuff after that got real weird. Salem was super out there. I can't remember the name of the other one.
Did you see the new one that he did?
The Three from Hell. Yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's not nearly as good as The Devil's Rejects, but I didn't hate it.
By the way, R.I.P. Captain Spaulding.
Yes, definitely. Man, it's unfortunate that he passed.
Miser wants to know, what is the best prank you pulled on someone?
I don't really pull pranks. My friends and I, we like to roast each other. I mean, if anyone that's ever heard Corn Dogs, myself, Blobs, any one of us that talk to each other, Brose as of late, we really just like to roast each other. I don't really do a lot of pranks. I mean, I've done the basic ones, saran wrap on the toilet seat so they pee all over the place. Even taking it back, to when, high school, or not high school, but like middle school sleepovers, put your friend's hand in warm water, stuff like that. We have pulled our friends' legs off the bed before. That way their legs would fall asleep, so when they wake up, they would instantly hit the ground. However, it backfired though, because as soon as they would stand up, they hit the ground, and then they hit their head off the corner of their dresser, split their wigs. So that one didn't go as planned, but maybe that's why I don't pull pranks. He had like 7 stitches. So
okay. Let's see here. Oh man, it went away. Most of the questions just went away. That's what I don't like when we lose them. Brose wanted to know, who is your favorite long-haired Hispanic something/Maui impersonator?
Oh, that would definitely be
El Luchador.
Brose would.
El Luchador, he's my favorite.
Yeah, I do like El Luchador. However, he doesn't ever stay around for long. Seems like he's got other places to be. But I'll change my answer. El Luchador.
And I'm sorry if I missed anything from the Brose question to this next question, because the chat kind of went away at that point.
Yeah, they're just booming in there today.
So Rabble wants to know, is there any suggestions for anything that Support Force is missing?
I think it seems like anytime I begin to talk about an idea, like I was saying something to Rabble stream the other day, and he was like, "Oh, just wait, just give it time, stuff's in the works." And then like I said something in Brose's stream one day, and he was like, "Oh, that's actually funny you talked about that. You're not the first person that's talked about it." So I feel like anytime I think there's a good idea, you guys handle it like weeks ahead of time, and you're like, "Oh yeah, we already had this idea, and we talked about this." The only thing I would like to see, which that I haven't. I mean, I know there's like the clips and media and stuff, but I love cooking and I love showing off my food. I don't see the food, show off your food or whatever that section. Like I know there's the clips and media, but I would like a place for like recipes and stuff like that. 'Cause, we've had people in here. I believe we still have people in here that do cooking streams and everything else like that. I'd like to show that off because I've thought about doing that as well. I'd like more so some recipe sharing spot or something like that. Something to do with the food. I like food a lot. I'm fat.
I'm sure we'll probably discuss that on Sunday in the staff call.
All right.
Taurus wants to know, being the featured creator in Supportforce, have you been satisfied with the support you were given versus before you were a featured creator?
To be honest with you, I know like 2 months ago, I had just made one reference to someone that I would probably not ever want to be the featured creator, just because I think there's so many people out there that deserve the exposure. I'm very happy with the amount of people that have come in. I've been yelling at people. I don't want bits and all this stuff. Don't donate to me. Just hang out with me. That's all I care about. I think that, it's definitely been an uptick. I've had people showing up that, I haven't really seen much of or talked too much. But all in all, yeah, I think it's fantastic. I love the feature creator idea. It gives people extra exposure. And because, like, for instance, how I said my work schedule, there's still a lot of people that I have to get to know yet. A lot of people that I haven't got to the streams. I may have followed, but it's at like 4:00 in the morning when I'm just trying to get like 2 or 3 extra boosts in real quick before I go to bed.
Right.
Say a couple things, and that's really it. So I definitely think it's a great program just because there's, a lot of people are grinding,
right,
trying to get to 50 and everything else. And it definitely helps. Overall, yeah, I think I'm very, very pleased with the amount of support that I got, especially because the first couple streams I had were ass. I had a million problems after I listened to Brose about stuff to fix my OBS. Granted, I love Brose and he helped me fix it, but I had like 10 million problems. And just for 2 days, it was nothing but ass. So I definitely am very happy with the fact that people actually stuck around and still came back. I knew Brose was going to say something to that.
Corn Dog says you don't believe you have male genitalia because I know you can't see it.
Yep, fair enough. I don't know if that was a question, but definitely a good statement. Thanks, Corn Dogs.
All right, so Supportforce wants to know, what is your favorite part about Supportforce?
My favorite part about Supportforce is probably, honestly, how do I phrase this? Let me think on this. I don't want to phrase it wrong. Like, I love the podcast, even though I never ever get to see anything more than like 20 minutes because I'm always working on Thursdays. I've had a little bit more time the last couple weeks, obviously, but I love how active Gen Chat is. Like, any kind of support community that you get, you're gonna get those people that just show up trying to get some extra stuff for their channel and don't really engage. But I would say that our community has probably the best results I've seen of just when people come in, they talk and everybody wants to know everyone. Everyone likes squatting up and gaming with each other. It's not just so much like, oh, hey, I'm leaving lurks for you and whatnot. When they show up to your stream, they talk. There's so many people that want to reach out and game with everyone, get to know everyone. So it's honestly probably one of the friendliest communities that I've been in. And it's literally only about the support. I've been in other ones that, every single one starts with the support, and then some go to esports, and then some go to, well, we want to do a partner push for this person on this platform. And no, this is literally just about supporting each other. There's no, you know exactly who I'm talking about. There's no alternative motives for this community. It's literally just about the support. Yeah, like I said, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome though. And I'm going to tell you this right now, and I think a lot of people will agree with me, is the one thing that you said that I love to hear is you literally said our community. You didn't say the community or your community or just Supportforce. You said our community, which means that to me tells me you've bought into this and that you're in it. And
Yeah.
when you start referring to it as ours, it's pretty awesome to hear that. And I want to say I really appreciate the fact that you said that and that you're in it. You're in it to win it, like Eisenman.
Yes, I did have a little I was a little nervous about joining at first, just because the Discord server that we won't mention I was a part of beforehand, and I was doing a lot of things for that community when you first reached out to me and had me join Supforce, and then I left because I felt bad because I was doing I was in the upper tier of that Discord, and I didn't want to feel like that I was, I don't know, not being true to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then just one day, Blobs and I looked at each other, and I'm like, dude, fuck this place. Like, do you even like it here anymore? And he's like, I've been gone like 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, cool. So I dipped and I came back here, and I've been happy ever since. And it is. I mean, I get a lot of people from Supforce. I have, just people that, I've brought some people into Supforce with me,
Right.
Yoshi and San and Corn Dogs, even though he's not streaming and whatnot, but he's still in the community from it. I've brought people in, and I believe in the community is what I should say. I believe in it. There was, and as a part of everything, there's times where I'm just like, I'm not sure about it, but that's not mostly because of the community. That's more so because I work all the time. I mean, once I go back to work, I don't know what my streaming schedule will be. I don't know how I'm going to support people between working and sleeping and trying to stream, but for the most part, I bought in. Yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid.
Good. That's good to hear. So this question, I won't name who it's from, but says, who's your favorite, Corn Dogs or Blobs?
Oof. I'm going to answer that and say Yoshi. I will not answer that out of either. I love them both for separate reasons. I love one for looks and one for gameplay, and I'll let them fight over who's more beautiful and who's better at games.
Roger wants to know the hair. Is there an end game for it?
Yes, there is an end game. This hair is going to become the most fantastic red, white, and blue braided mullet you have ever seen. So that will happen this summer. That has been the plan with the hair since I started growing it out. Corn Dogs and I have had conversations about our mullets before. So,
nice.
And my birthday's 4th of July. I figure there's no better time to have a red, white, and blue mullet. I mean, I'm hoping everything's over, by this summer. That way I can debut it and be just America as fuck. And I'm ready for it. That's the end game for the hair. And after that, I will never have hair again. I used to bick my head when I was 20 because I have a receding hairline, and I went for 4 or 5 years bald. And then I did one of those really douchey cuts where you shave the back and sides and you just have all that hair up there, and then you have that little bun. And then I cut that because it was douchey. And then I just decided to start growing it out because we talked about a mullet, and I didn't end up going to Mud Jam, which, since you're from the Mitten, I don't know if you've heard of Mud Jam, but it's right up here at our hometown. And it's just a big mud bog drinking. It's if you could combine nothing but rednecks and Mardi Gras with trucks and mud, that is what this is.
Yeah, my cousin goes up there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a lot of fun. But I didn't end up going last year, so I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to keep the hair growing and get the mullet next year. So.
Yeah, there you go. Rebel wants to know sexiest staff member.
Sexiest staff member? That is a tough choice because Brose's right. He does look like Maui, and I'd love to pull his hair. However, I saw Rabs in some Christmas lights, and after that, I did weird things to my Christmas tree. So that's a tough one. You know what? I'm just gonna go with Kayleigh. I'll go with Kayleigh.
Ooh, look out, Blobs.
Yeah, I'll do that. Just stir up some heat between Blobs and I.
Oh, that's so funny. Awesome. Well, we're going to do our last call for some questions. If anybody has anything else. And Kat says she called it. And Kayleigh says, it's me, I'm the fave.
Yeah.
But Lightyear, I want to give you the floor and let you, give some final thoughts and party words to the chat and everything. And please feel free to let everybody know anything else that you want to know about yourself.
Yeah. Well, I will say I was extremely nervous because, like I said, I didn't really get a chance to watch a lot of the other podcasts other than like 20 minutes. So I didn't really know what to expect. This was a lot of fun. I like talking a lot. I should have just assumed this would be a lot easier than what it was. But I had a lot of fun. I wish I could have paid attention to chat more just because whenever you get corn dogs and any one of my friends in there, that's usually they say horrible things about me, and I usually like to read them and be a part of them. That way I can make fun of myself as well. But I'll never say her name right. Marina?
Yep.
All right, I said it right. Perfect. Yeah, I have lots of tattoos, lots of them. But yeah, I appreciate everyone who's come out and supported, whether it was the Toxic Taters, my endeavors with my own channel, and whether it be Twitter, Instagram, everyone that's helped me set stuff up. And before I even go into all that, I want to say that if it wasn't for you, Diehard, and I'm not just trying to gas you up here, if it wasn't for you, I would never actually be streaming, because I always thought you needed like a big PC build and all this shit to stream. And if it wasn't for Country actually stumbling across you guys on a drunk stream through another Discord, I would have never even thought about it. And it wasn't until talking to you that I found out, hey, streaming's actually not that hard. So if it wasn't for you, there would have never been a Toxic Taters and there would have never been a Lightyear. So I got to say thank you for that, because like I said, I'd seen other people. I watched Shroud and all those other guys, Dr. Disrespect, Narcoleptic Nugget, just based upon watching YouTube videos and then learning more so about Twitch and everything else. But like I said, if it wasn't for meeting you, I would have actually never known how easy streaming is. So like I said, that's not just to gas you up. That's that's true.
So it's my fault the taters are around. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Everybody can blame me.
Yeah, it's your fault. So people sometimes tune into a couple hours of really bad gaming and horrible jokes. So
well, thank you, man. That means a lot, honestly, that you said that. I go back to like my first actual stream was, I tell people this, I streamed Minecraft. That was my first game I streamed, and I literally was on my Xbox streaming through the Twitch app, and I had an iPad on the side that had the chat, and it was me trying to figure out how to do Nightbot and all that stuff and doing all those things. But it's you don't really, I mean, unfortunately with DLive you have to have a PC or have a capture card because there's no apps to stream. But I mean, it's not
DILF.
Oh man,
DILF.
so I'm a DILF. All right. Thank you, Brose. I think that's kind of weird that you say that about your dad, but it is what it is. But yeah, anybody can stream, man. Honestly, I think it's a great way for people to kind of come out of their shell and everything too, and just get to know people. I find it's a lot easier to just communicate with people. It's all you do is just talk. That's all you got to do. It's Daddy Dilfhard.
Jeez. Give me 1 second. I got to get my dog
Sure.
to shush. I don't know what they're freaking out about, but I'll be back.
Go ahead.
I'm not leaving.
Well, thank you for that, Brose. Now I'm going to be called a DILF all the time. Which there could be worse things that I could be called, Believe me, I'll take DILF, honestly. But yeah, anybody can stream. It's just a matter of rolling on my blanket. Just a matter of just having the nerve to do it. Once you do it and you get into it, you're going to be nervous, but once you start getting into a routine of it and everything, it goes away real quick. Like I said before, even if it doesn't matter if it's one person or 50, you stream like it's 50 people out there. So we're just going to go back through a little bit here, and Spuds is tending to his dogs. And I just want to say thank you, Shane, for the 2 gifted subs. Miser, thank you for the sub and the donations. Banda, thank you for the diamond. I appreciate it so much. As well as Panic, thank you for the diamond. Jules, thank you for the ice cream. And Lucifer, thank you for the 6 lemons. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and really, really love you all out there, and thank you so much for the support. Make sure you click on the Supforce chat line that's in there, because Supforce actually has their own channel, and this pod will eventually be moving toward that, probably starting in May. We're actually going to broadcast it off of the Support Force channel. So make sure you follow that as well. Good.
Right.
I'm glad you love it, Banda. That's why we do it. We do it honestly for all you out there, for everybody out there to get to know people more and get to know about Support Force a little bit more. So hopefully you all leave today knowing that Lightyear's a psycho and loves serial killers.
Yes, and according to Kat, I love bad beer. So there's nothing wrong with this Budweiser.
There's a reason why they called it America for a while during the summer. It's America's beer. You leave that alone.
And I actually started drinking it because people are less likely to ask for a beer when you have a Budweiser as opposed to anything else. So,
very true. Very, very true. The Support Force account has been putting Lightyear's links out there for all of his socials as well as his Twitch channel. So make sure you hit him up. Remember, you get an extra 25% boost for any support you show Lightyear through the end of this week up until Monday. Okay, Sunday we're going to choose a new featured creator, and we'll have that. If you want to be a featured creator, there's a couple things you need to do. You need to be above level 20, and make sure you're active in the chat, and so people know who you are. And if we see that you're actually putting in the effort, that's why I always say in Support Force, you get out of Support Force what you put into it. So if you're going to put the time and the effort in, trust me, it's going to come back to you tenfold. Like, you look at Lightyear. Lightyear always had a problem with, he'd go up 2 levels and then he'd drop down a level. Then he would go up 2 levels, he'd drop down a level. So finally he just decided to say, you know what? Screw it. And he went ham on it and then got to level 50. And now that he's past level 50 and he's leveling up now, guess what? He doesn't lose any XP because he got to level 50. Once you get to level 50, you do not lose XP. You can keep going on through the prestige ranks. So make sure you put out that support, okay? And Lightyear, thank you very much for coming out tonight. I really appreciate you being on the pod. It was awesome having you. Great conversation. I feel like everybody knows you a lot better than they did before, which is awesome. Make sure you go out. When's the next time you're streaming?
I will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. So make sure you check them out tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Go to Spudzlightyear. Is it Spudzlightyear? Yeah, Spudzlightyear on twitch.tv. Hit them up. It's right up there. Supforce just put the link up there. And also, if you're interested in Support Force and you're out there, make sure you click on the link in my description below. There's a banner that says Support Force. You click on that. It'll take you to our Discord server, and you can get the link and join our Discord, read about us. Also, and just so you know this, Panic, I know you're on the Supforce channel. If you put !Support Force, it puts our website and our Discord server on there. So
hey, there it is.
Make sure you click on both those. Read about us. Believe me, you can't go wrong. Again, thank you, Lightyear. I hope you have an awesome evening. Thank you so much for joining me. Everybody out there, thank you for hanging out tonight. I really, really appreciate you all. You guys are all amazing. And like I said, you are the reason why we do this. And as we say always, just remember, everybody out there, that happiness is a state of mind, peace, love, and financial security to all. If you're going to have sex, wear a condom. Help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. And remember, as always, stay blessed. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
See? You got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it was chill. I like the vibes. It was chill. I just know that me personally, I was more so worried about myself.
Just so you know, they can still hear you.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I remember because I was watching the end of Jams and I could still hear it. I was like, I don't know if I should tell them that they can still hear them or not.
No, we
I don't know if that's a part of the thing.
It is.
I never make it to the end. I'm always at work. So but yeah, I was more so. I know when I get going, I just don't shut up usually. I just keep going. So I'm like, oh man, I don't want to make myself look like an asshole.
No,
which I do enough of that. So
not at all, dude. You're perfectly fine. No worries, bro. It was great. It was a great pod. It really was.
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much so.
Good combos and everything. I didn't realize, like I said, I didn't realize that you were so into the whole serial murder thing. You know, researching all of it and that.
Yeah, I think it was 9th or 10th grade is when I did that big research project, and I mean I had just an absolute folder full of everything that I could stockpile off of the school's internet that they would let me go to. I couldn't go much further than that. They would
Right.
fucking corn dogs.
And Roger just said, "Yeah, what corn dog said."
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people think that corn dogs is an asshole, which is true, but he's my A1 asshole. Whenever I need something, like if I'm like, hey, I have no idea what to do for a stream, I don't even feel like streaming. He's like, oh well, let's just play something stupid, just
Right.
Madden or UFC or something, and because we do that all the time. We get tired of playing games that everyone's playing, and we'll just go back to UFC and Madden. And it's Madden is sometimes a good game between us. I know one of us will throw at least 7 interceptions in the game because we just start slinging it because we get pissed. And UFC, it's an absolute shit show. I just get dominated. Like he picks me up and cuddles me at the end of it. It's bad. He destroys me.
So he basically does what Big Country did to Kimbo Slice in the Ultimate Fire, where you just laid on him for like 2.5 minutes. Took him down and just laid on him.
Yeah, it's actually funny because when we fight, it's only stand and bang. We only want to go for the knockouts, but by 2 minutes into the round, I am gassed from like the one sign of glimpse that it looked like I had on his ass. Right. And I'm like, I gotta finish this now. And then he's like, nope, and finishes me with like a jab because he kicks the shit out of me for the next 5 minutes.
That's funny.
And corn dogs will put A1 on this asshole. He's not lying about that.
Guests of Supportforce Live receive 2,500 experience points courtesy of Supportforce. Remember, hashtag